once you mentioned about your interest in chess. So, what's your opinion about Garry Kasparov as a player and his views about Vladimir Putin, about how he is an evil dictator? Yes, chess is a game that I used to really enjoy as a kid. Then I gave it up because it's very time consuming. You play a chess game, you'll spend 2 3 hours playing it if you're serious. So I was good. I was reasonably good at it, but I never played professionally or anything. I used to enjoy it as a kid, but then I quit the game. Too time consuming. Garry Kasparov, great player, one of the greatest of all time. Very interesting history. He was from Azerbaijan in the USSR. It's presently an independent country. So Garry Kasparov was born Gary Weinstein, I think. Weinstein. His actual surname was Weinstein. His father was a Jew, so he is half Jewish. His mother was Armenian, I think, and because the USSR was kind of anti-Semitic or whatever, that's why he took up his mother's side surname and became Kasparov or something. So that's his background. He was always a very good player, chess player as a kid. He became world champion, I think, in 1984 by defeating Anatoly Karpov, his compatriot, Russian compatriot. Um, they had two world championship matches. The first one went like it was a massive championship match. 30, 40 chess matches they played. Karpov was leading 5-0. Then Kasparov changed his entire strategy, and then he started slowly clawing his way back. The score became 5-3 or 5-4 or something, and then it was so exhausting. More than 40 games had been played, so the championship was called off. Think about these chess games. Chess is a cerebral sport, but if you participate, if a professional chess player, a grandmaster, participates in a week long tournament, they're gonna end up losing 4 or 5 or maybe 10 kilos of weight. That's how much mental energy the game takes, and the brain is the most energy hungry organ in the body. So chess players, if they participate in extended tournaments, they may end up losing 5 or 10 kilos of weight. That's how intense this game is. So these guys, Kasparov and Karpov, they played more than 40 games, I think, in the first championship, and then it had to be abandoned because it would have killed them both. They both wanted to continue, I believe, but then it was abandoned. Then the same year, a few months later, there was a rematch, and that I think Kasparov won, and he became world champion at the age of, I don't know. It was an 84, I think. I don't know what his age was. He was very young, and then he went on to become one of the greatest champions of all time. He defeated various other people, including Nigel Short, Vishwanathan Anand. Eventually, I think he lost to Vladimir Kramnik, um, and he retired in the 2000s, I believe. He also lost to a machine, the first human grandmaster or champion to lose to a machine, Deep Blue, I think it was called, a chess machine, chess computer. So that's about him as a player, one of the greatest players of all time. He was a very intense player. When he would have made his move, and the other player was waiting for the other player to make his move or her move, mostly his move. He would constantly stare at the person, stare, glare into their eyes to put this mental pressure on the person. So he had these tactics he would use, and I think he was fond of staying physically strong and fit, which is important for a chess player. So one of the greatest of all times, no doubt about that. After retirement, he's become very politically active. I think he has formed a political party, or he's a member of a political party, something like that. It's a pro-West political party, anti-Putin political party. So his views are very strong about Putin. He considers Putin to be an evil dictator. He believes Kasparov believes in democracy, Western democracy, liberal democracy, whatever. He's very strongly anti-Putin, pro-West, and so on and so forth. So that's about him and his politics. So the thing is, you can admire somebody without agreeing with their politics. Like I've said before, there are many people I admire as human beings for their achievements in their whatever field it is, but you don't have to agree with their politics. So I admire Kasparov for his achievements in chess, one of the greatest chess players of all time, one of the greatest sports people of all time. But I don't quite agree with his politics. But he has the right to have whatever views he has, and that's fine. So that's my view about Garry Kasparov.